Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. This Irvine International Academy regularly scheduled board meeting today is April 28, 2026. The time is 6:01 p.m. That sounds correct. We are located at 4782 Karen Ann Lane, Irvine, California 92604. Thank you for all those that are here. It shouldn't be too long, but a fun-filled evening. So looking forward to it. I'm actually very excited about it. Okay, let's start with roll call. Molly.
Present.
Felipe.
Present.
Brett is present. David.
Present.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to approval of the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors today, April 28, 2026. Recommended the Board of Directors approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on April 28, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Molly. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, moving on to community input on closed session agenda items. Members of the public may comment on items listed on the closed session agenda only. Public comments include email comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes of public comment. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. Moving on, we'll move to closed session for discussion and possible action involving conference with real property negotiators. We'll be discussing this property, and we'll be discussing with Dr. Henry. We shall convene in about 30 minutes, if not less.
Yes.
Okay, thank you everyone for your patience. We're reconvening. The time is 6:31 p.m. No action taken from the meeting. Next, move to flag salute. Do we have any volunteers?
The volunteer.
All right, thank you, Mr. Delgado.
Please stand, face our flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Moving on to community input on agendized and non-agendized items. The public may comment on items listed on the agenda, including the consent calendar, presentation, discussion, committee, and action items. The public may also comment on items not listed on the agenda that are within the legal purview of the Board of Directors. Any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. Moving next to recognitions. Finalists for the Mandarin Masters. We've got first, second, and third place for kindergarten, first, second grade, third through fifth grade, and middle school Mandarin Master winners.
Thank you. Okay, I'll start. Good evening, IIA School Board and IIA community. Today we're here proudly to recognize our students for their academic achievements and for their success at multiple academic competitions. So we would like to start with our finalist for the National Civics Bee Orange County Region Division. And the winner goes to Alice Wu. Congratulations, Alice. Some of our students, they had prior commitments, so they wouldn't be able to join us here, but we're still gonna recognize them. And next, we have our third place winner in the National Chinese Speech Contest. That goes to Wotan Wang. Congratulations, Wotan. And moving on to Mandarin Masters. We're proud to continue hosting our second year of Mandarin Masters. And for our kindergarten group, the third place goes to Sophia Jones. Congratulations, Sophia. And second place goes to Cassie Ni. Congratulations, Cassie. And the first place goes to Justin Chen. In our first to second grade group, we have our third place going to Alexander Wang. Second place goes to Jingyu Hou. And our first place winner, Sun Yang. So over there, congratulations, Sun Yang. In our 3rd to 5th grade group, we have Mei Xie and Zoe Liao, the tied 3rd place winners. Congratulations, Zoe and Mei. 2nd place, we have Sharon Tan. Congratulations, Sharon. And first place goes to Tristan Xu. Congratulations, Tristan. In the middle school group, 6th to 8th grade.
Go ahead and finish with the middle school group, and
Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Where we can, if they trickle in, maybe a photo can be taken, everyone can join us, a photo can be taken after
Yeah.
Mr. Schmitter's report, in case we're running a little early for
Yeah, sure.
them. And then we can take that photo then. So if they continue to come in a little bit later,
Yeah.
let's have everyone have a seat so we can take a group photo after the presentation.
Yeah, sure, we can do
Okay.
certificates and
Wonderful.
pictures together. Okay, thank you. And the middle school group for Mandarin Master, 3rd place goes to Alice Wu. 2nd place goes to Ruoyi Ouyang. Please have a seat. Our students, please come have a seat, and parents, please sit down. We're gonna do the pictures after. 1st place goes to Ming En Huang. Congratulations, middle school students. And also this year, we had a few submissions to the International Chinese Language Festival. And we're very proud, we have 2 students who won the champions for the International Chinese Language Festival in the themed speech presentation category. So we are going to recognize Chloe Watson. Congratulations, Chloe. And Benjamin Song. Congratulations to all our students, and keep up the good work. We're gonna do their certificates later. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So for those families that are coming in, we do have certificates for you. We're just going to see if we get a few more trickle in, but we're going to go to Mr. Schmitter's update, and then we'll take a group picture and give you your certificates and celebrate you properly. Thank you.
So a big congratulations to all of those that achieved that, all the winners. It takes a lot of support and effort from the families as well as effort from the students, so thank you all for your support. All right, moving on to items for consent. We're going to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting of the IIA Board of Directors on April 7, 2026. Recommend the Board of Directors approve consent item A. Is there a motion?
All motion, sir.
Thank you, Felipe. Is there a second? Thank you, David. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, moving on to items for presentation. We've got a school update. Principal Schmitter.
All right, well, good evening. I just wanted to say, first of all, just how fast I think April has flown by. It feels like we just came back from break, and all of a sudden, I don't know if you realize it, but come Friday, it's May 1st. So, with that being said, we're kind of right in the thick of the beginning of the end of these school year events, and there's just a lot going on. Just going to give you some updates on testing. We finished our Apple assessments. There's a couple students who are doing makeups. Just a reminder, Apple assessments are those for Mandarin fluency. The initial anecdotal feedback that we've gotten based on how students are performing and we're observing it, we are seeing a lot of growth in our students, so significant improvement in our students just from last year. It kind of goes into coming into last year, the focus was helping the students build a strong foundation and then building off that foundation. So we're seeing that. We start getting the official results in about 2 weeks. And so we hope to get that in a timely manner, because then we want to be able to present that later this month for our families so we can provide updates on our student progress. Also, we're planning this week for gate testing for our 3rd grade students and then a few other students who have requested gate testing. This is a part of our 3rd grade blanket testing. We do alternate tests every other year because one test is more verbal than the other. So if a student tests this year, they can always retest again next year by request. But that's happening this week. And this year we also launched our GATE program, as you know. So Ms. Zhang here has worked a lot on that, and so she's been providing monthly newsletters, enrichment projects for our students. So our GATE program has started this year. And then lastly, for testing, starting on Monday, May 4th, which is less than a week from today, we begin our CAF testing, our state testing. So our students will be testing every morning. So every Monday through Thursday, they'll be testing to about 10:30. So we'll have what we call quiet hours during that time. So it's a reminder to all our staff and our students, this is the time that students are testing, so they need to do their best to stay quiet, not interrupt classes, especially given our rooms. And so next week, they start with English Language Arts. They'll test Monday through Thursday, with Friday being makeups. The following week, they do math. And then the third week, our 5th and 8th grade students are taking their CAS test, their science test. We've been working with our students who receive supports, making sure that they'll be ready to go, students who test in small groups or alternative settings. So we've been working with our staff to get that all underway. We did a training last week on testing security. That's something that we have to provide for our teachers, how to administer the test. So with that being said, we are ready to go for our testing next week. Any questions about anything I just shared?
Something really quick, not real questions, but I know last year there was not as favorable results. Was it from the 4th and 5th grade or 5th grade for the CASP testing?
Are you talking about students?
Yeah, the students testing.
It was 4th and 5th.
4th grade, right?
4th and 5th, yeah.
Yeah, and so I know you talked about having extra support for that, make sure, what was done to support that effort?
So we worked very carefully with our teachers to provide intervention and support for these students. So reviewing the data, providing small groups, support for groups of students based on the areas of need. So we looked at the data, the areas that they tested low in, and we provided extra support. So it's not something that we're doing now, it's something we've been doing all school year.
I can tell you that my children at home are working their practice tests every evening.
That's good.
So if they're an example of any of the other students that are involved, I'm looking for a big improvement.
Yeah, and this year too, we've really emphasized communicating to our students and also our families what resources are available out there. So we had a parent workshop on it. We've been sending that out, just different ways if families want to help prepare their students at home as well, what they can do with that.
I think they need to know that the value of the CAS testing, what is it for? You know, it's not just another test, right?
Yeah.
The value is that now that
Yeah, no, it's
the school and the children and stuff.
well, it definitely is it's a good for families to know where their students' performance level is at, and also for our school, it's just important too for us because that's something, especially given where we're located, our community, that is valued. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions about testing? All right, next up I was do a quick follow-up on open house. So we had open house a couple weeks ago. We actually had a great turnout. It was over a couple hours, but I would say we had a steady flow of people coming, and we had full classrooms pretty consistently, and a lot of the feedback we got was very positive, just from families, it's very happy. This is another one of those good events as a community, just for our families to come together and just enjoy the work our students have been doing and the learning that has been taking place. So that was a couple weeks ago. All right, and looking out ahead, we have our end of the year events. So we got feedback from the winter concert in the sense that some of our families were a little disappointed in our winter concert just by the amount of performances for our students and the types of performances. So we've taken that feedback and we've redone our spring concert a little bit and as a result, we've had to split it into 2 separate evenings. So the first one's on May 21st, second one's May 28th. The first one's TK through first, and the second one is second through middle school. And what we are doing is our students have about double the length of the performances. So they're doing multiple singing songs, they're doing a musical element demonstration, and they're also doing instrumental type work. So in order to accommodate that feedback and that type of performance, we did have to split it up into two separate evenings. Otherwise, it would be a 6-7 hour event. And so we have plans for that on later in May. We're also planning our field day on Wednesday, June 3rd with our teachers. So I know our teachers are probably going to be looking for volunteers, parent volunteers to help out with that. So more information will be coming out for that. But it was a very fun event the last couple of years. And then on our last day of school, June 4th, we have our promotions. So we have 3 promotions. The first one is kindergarten at 8:30, 5th grade at 10:30, and 8th grade at 12 noon. So we'll be doing that on our last day of school. And then kind of looking out, again, these are a lot of things are these things that just went over, but also we do have our last school site council next week, our last ELAC meeting, our English Learner Advisory Committee meeting on May 14th, as well as the spring concert I just mentioned. So we blinked and we're in May, and we have a lot of different events going on throughout May and to finish up the year. So we have our testing, and then we'll go right into the end of the year events from there. So that is what I have. Is any questions, comments?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, parents and students and IIA board members. Just as Mr. Delgado was saying about the CASP testing, the value of the testing, we're here recognizing our students because we see the value of bringing up students' confidence and for them to have a better achievement performance when they are being assessed. So here we have our students join us at the board meeting. Thank you for your time today, and we wanted to recognize our students' academic achievements and dedication in multiple academic competitions. So we will start with our first student. She participated in the National Civics Bee and is the finalist for the Orange County Civics Bee, which goes to Alice Wu. Congratulations, Alice. And Alice was also the 3rd place in our middle school Mandarin Master final round. So big applause for Alice. Good job. Thank you, Alice. Okay. Next, our second student, and this student won the 3rd place in the National Chinese Speech Contest. And this award goes to Wotan. Congratulations, Wotan.
We'll do the 3 separate awards separately, and then we'll bring up all the Mandarin Masters,
Yeah.
call them up one at a time, and then we'll take gestures that way. And then, do you have the one more single award? Okay.
Moving on to Mandarin Master.
Okay, great.
Okay, now moving on to Mandarin Masters for our kindergarten group at the Mandarin Master. We have our 3rd place winner, Sophia Jones. Congratulations, Sophia. And 2nd place goes to Cassie Ni. Congratulations, Cassie. And 1st place goes to Justin Chen. Congratulations, our kindergarten group winners. Okay. And first and second group in the Mandarin Master, we have our third place winner, Alexander Wong. Congratulations, Alex. Second place, Jing Yu Ho. Congratulations, Jing Yu. And first place goes to Yang Sun. Sun Yang. Okay, moving on to our third to fifth grade group. Third place goes to Zoe Liao and Macy Xie. Congratulations. Second place goes to Sharon Tan. Congratulations, Sharon. First place goes to Tristan Xu. Congratulations, Tristan. Okay, now moving on to our middle school Mandarin Master. Third place goes to Alice Wu. Congratulations, Alice. Second place goes to Roy Ouyang. First place goes to Ming En Huang. Congratulations. A big round of applause for our Mandarin Master winners. Congratulations, friends. We have our kindergarten group first place, Justin Chen. Congratulations, Justin. Right on time. Okay, let's take another picture.
All right, let's take more pictures. Okay.
Okay, congratulations to our students for your academic achievements. Thank you. And this wouldn't happen without our students' hard work, their effort, and our parents, our community support. So I also wanted to say thank you to our parents for supporting our students' academic learning. Thank you.
Of course, we also need to thank Ms. Zhang for her incredible dedication to the program and for really helping to inspire these children
Thank you. Thank
to
you.
really work for great achievements. Okay, moving on next to financial update. We've got Mr. Wassel. Are you there, Mr. Wassel?
And if any of our guests you need to go home and do homework and eat dinner and all of those things, we completely understand. Of course, you're welcome to stay for the financial presentation, but have a great evening. Thank you guys so much.
Mr. Wassel, can you hear us okay? You're on mute to hear us speaking.
Brian, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Great. Let me go ahead and, sorry, it's a little hard to hear on this side. So I'll turn up my volume as well, but if there's any questions, please let me know, or feel free to type in the chat as well. Great, so I'm going to go ahead and present the financials as of March. 31st. Can you let me know when you can see my screen okay?
We can see it.
Great. So the financial presentation is as of March 31st, and so these are the financials from July 1st, 2025 through the end of March. Now this is the financial summary page and really the narrative portion behind the board report. This budget was based and approved on February 24th with a net income of about $1.3 million, and that was based off of an ADA of 565 students. Now, the P2 ADA did come in higher than that, about 572, which is great news. So that will positively impact some of the revenues based on this note below, which is about like 15,000 plus per extra ADA. Now in terms of revenues, as of the end of March, this is just a snapshot. Rounding up, it came into about $6 million. That is under budget where the school expected to be at this time, but really that's just due to timing of when funds are recognized and received in comparison to the budget. We expect by year end, those will all catch up and be recognized. In terms of restricted funds, there's about $1.3 million on the school's budget, and we work with the school on making sure those are earned come year end. So in order to meet the budget, it's just important that the school recognizes those funds by year end, and that's the expectation. In terms of expenses, as of the end of March, that came in about $5.8 million, or 0.1% under what was budgeted. So, pretty in line. But really, why is it under by a small margin? That's just due to some of the timing of when expenses are recognized. It's not necessarily a savings, right? We expect those to still come in by year end. There were additional substitute expenses, and those weren't budgeted for. So those could have an impact on the budget come year end, but right now those are being offset, right, by those other categories that are currently under budget. So we'll continue to monitor that alongside the school just to see what the impact will be come year end. So in terms of the net income, as of the end of March, that came in at about $94,000. That is under budget based on the notes above, but we do expect the school's budgeted net income to be in range with how projections look for year end. Any questions on the financial summary page?
Questions? Nope.
All right, moving on then. So here's the budget summary table. So you can see this is the total budget, about 1.3, and then the total revenue of 9 million, and then total expenses of 7 million. So we do expect some of this revenue, especially the LCFF revenue, to be higher, just with that additional ADA. And then as well, you can see in this actuals column, some of the staffing expenses are a little bit higher, and that's just due to some of those unbudgeted substitute expenses. Any questions on the table graph?
Okay. We're okay? Thank you.
All right, so then continuing on. So this is the cash flow projection. So as of the end of March, cash came in about 1.7 million. And this projection shows in June, there's a drop off in cash, and that is taking into account the school paying off the line of credit. So from what we're projecting, the school is able to make that payment and have still a healthy cash balance at the time of payment and moving forward.
Do you have a payment date in mind in June?
Yes, so in talking with the school and with the bank, this was discussed to be at the end of June. Obviously, right, we don't want to leave it to the last day, so we want to do it a couple weeks prior to that in accordance with the bank. So we'll continue to talk with the school on the exact timing of that payment, but really anywhere mid-June is where we're looking at.
And once that's done, we will have zeroed out any loans?
Yeah,
Any lines of
exactly.
credit, right? Okay, thank you.
And then moving on to the balance sheet, so as you can see, the cash like we talked about is 1.7 million, and we compare that to the total current liabilities, and that's 895,000. So some of that line of credit is included there, but the good news is, right, you can pay that off, and you can still cover your current liabilities, and that's what we want for the school, is to be able to cover all those current liabilities. If for some reason, right, they all had to be paid tomorrow, would the school have the cash to do so? And the answer is yes, you have 1.7 in comparison to about 900,000. Any questions on the balance sheet?
So I see your liquidity ratio, there's a color coding there. It's just colored, but is there a color code there, or is that just a random color that you used? I'm curious them to.
Oh, for the liquidity ratio? Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's just more of like a formatting
Okay.
with the CSMC colors.
So where does we have two here, where does that stand within where you think we should be based on other schools that you're overseeing, that you would consider to be healthy?
Yeah, that would be a healthier ratio, right, because you're able to cover, this is basically saying you're able to cover your current liabilities. So it's comparing your cash to your current liabilities. So anything under 1 would be concerning.
So 2 is a very good number, right, I recall. Yeah, liquidity ratio is 2, that's a very good indicator, correct? Hello?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that question.
Yeah, just commenting on your liquidity ratio 2. And 2 is a very good indicator, and meaning we are pretty liquid, right?
Right. That's a good indicator, and that coincides with that information with the cash covering.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Great, well, that is it for the March financials. Really, the next information is just some team information and then some key dates looking ahead. But that's it from my side. Any final questions in terms of the March financials?
Yeah, I do have a question on the revenue. And some actual revenue is about 200,000 below the budgeted. You said that's due to timing issue, right?
Yeah, so in terms of how funding works with the ADA, so the first half of the school year is funded off of last year's P2 ADA, and then there's the P1 ADA, so that is what funds the school from around January, February through the end of May, and then June, that trues up for P2.
So when do you expect this will even out?
Yeah, so those funds are expected to come in June and then July as well. And then through the next months as well with the usual payouts, but the true up of payments, those come in June, July.
If I can add, I asked the same question today, because I know we've done a lot of work tagging things to these other funding streams and said, okay, so when are we then going to reflect that in the budget, that extra funding? And it really is when we, at the end, as he said, in June, as we make sure that the payments for any specialized funding stream like categorical is paid by the right thing, then it comes back into the budget. The money's there, it just, we don't get credit for it until we spend it.
But when we initially have the budget, we actually anticipate that's going to come in
Yeah, one example of that is, there was a surprise funding stream that all schools got over the summer. And we have until 2029 to spend it. And so we talked about that today, is because we are in a healthy budget time, I don't need to spend that this year and might as well just kind of put it off until next year and see if there's a need then. It is unrestricted, so I can use it for a variety of things, but it'll reflect a little bit less because we thought we might need to spend it this year. And so it's about $100,000, but we're not. So anyway, it won't reflect in the budget until between now and 2029 when we decide, and of course we will spend it by the deadline, but it just won't reflect yet.
Thank you.
No more questions. Just one last question. So if we pay off the loan amount, when did you say it was? June? June, right? So start of the school year next year is August, September, late August?
The new budget cycle starts July 1, but the school year starts in August.
August. So I want to make sure that you're anticipating we have enough funding for the start of the school without having to take any loans out, right? Because of our cash flow.
Yes.
Yes, right?
And that's with the over $1 million in reserve
Reserve.
is because as we've learned, the way school funding works is because we're always paid on the year before and we have higher spending and we have higher enrollment because our enrollment keeps increasing, we're serving more students, buying more materials with less funding until it all catches up in February, and then we get a bump based on our true enrollment. But we believe having this reserve will be enough to get us through where we won't need another loan.
We won't need no loan
Mhm.
pending any emergencies, but. even
And we
with
have
that-
the line of credit sitting there, but it will have a zero balance
Zero
after we
balance.
pay off this $375, but we don't foresee needing that.
Perfect, thank you.
Does the P1 include the pre-K bonus stipend? What do I want to call that?
Yeah, and the extra money that they gave to TK, which actually I did find out will be for the next 3 years, they'll continue to even have a little bit more. Do you want to answer that question, Mr. Russell, or?
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, the P1 does include whatever that bonus was at P1, and then whatever the bonus is at P2. So whatever the final TK number is at P2, that's the final number that the school will get funded off of with the bonus.
So are you seeing it? Are you actually seeing it to understand the calculation?
Yeah, that's included in the LCFF distributions to the school and the calculator that's used in making those projections, and then in the actuals that the schools receive.
Is it a separate line item?
In terms of the P2, like how it's reported, yes, it's reported in a separate line item. And then on the CEE website, it's also, right, the school certifies the report on a separate line item. That goes to the CEE, and then that's included in the determination of funding.
Is there any mechanism to check the math by which the LCFF is paid? How it was calculated? Do we do that?
Yeah, I could send something to Stephanie to distribute. There's a calculation that goes into how it breaks down by grade level, and then it includes the bonus as well for the TK.
And if I can also add, with our authorizers, with Anna Day and her team at OCDE, as we have gone through, we just certified P2 today, and I reviewed it and saw the extra line item for TK is separated from everyone else because of that calculation. But then as we go through first interim, and then you've approved second interim, and we go through those approvals, On a Day is making those calculations as well. So not only do we have the CSMC team that is kind of giving us the calculations, they actually work closely with OCDE too, the authorizers of their financial department, and they're very good, which come and just make sure we're getting the right amount and that everything looks right. And then through their authorizer visit, we actually had that separate visit with the financial team, who was very pleased to say we were right on par with our budget, like within like $20,000. So really doing a good job with the revenue that we thought we would be getting, and also the enrollment we were projecting. Because sometimes you're off, you know, but we've been very consistent, so that's been a good thing.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Mr. Wassel, just want to say thank you for jumping in with both feet. I know you had to go through the transition, so it seems like you're well underway. So thank you very much.
Of course, happy to, and thank you guys.
Have a great night, thank you.
Have a good night.
Actually, it's coming in at a good time.
Very much so. Okay, so I'll just give some context here for the next item. I know officially we have a 7:15 start, I believe, but I believe our first candidate is already here, if I'm not mistaken, so we could even start a little bit earlier if we decide to. So the next item pertains to board member interviews. The IIA Board of Directors will conduct interviews in open session with 5 candidates tonight, April 28, 2026, and an additional 4 candidates on May 19, 2026. First round of interviews will last approximately 15 minutes each. Second round and nomination, if any, will be held on June 23rd, 2026 at a regularly scheduled board meeting. So the process is we'll have 5 individuals tonight. We've scheduled them. They'll have their own time here. Any of the other interviewees will be sequestered and sitting in a different room, so they won't be hearing any of the answers. You've been provided a list of the questions for this evening. If you wouldn't mind returning those before you leave, that would be great, because we appreciate it, just to manage the integrity of the process. We'll be rating, just so you understand, we'll be rating. We have 7 questions we'll ask in order. Start with Molly, if that's okay, and we'll just go down the line here and go back to Molly when it goes back to her turn. And you'll have 15 minutes basically for the interview for tonight.
Okay.
We'll time it and we'll let you know when it starts and when it
I'll serve as like the organizer and the timekeeper. That's my role. So I'll give you like maybe a 2-minute or something like that if I feel like I'll kind of follow along if you need a little bit
Are
more
you gonna put
time.
music on, like the Oscars?
Pardon?
Are you gonna put music on, like the Oscars?
Oh,
When
yeah.
I need to, like-
Unfortunately, we don't have the music, but I can do hand signals.
All right, with that, we invite you to come up if you would like.
Just want to make sure the mic's good to go.
And if you wouldn't mind, just state your name. We appreciate that, just to make sure we're with the right person. I believe I saw your phone as well, so I've lined it up, but just in case.
My name is Jason Millar. As far as my background, I've been in real estate for about 15 years, and I was a teacher prior to that for about 5 years. In my current company, I oversee the finance department, which includes asset valuations, FP&A, budgeting, forecasting, any KPI reporting that we need to do. I oversee the capital planning of a $4 billion portfolio. Aside from my role in real estate, I also hold a CFA charter holder designation, which is one of the highest designations you can receive in finance. And then,
So that's great. So we want to make sure we have enough time to cover all of it. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure I give you the time that we need. So
Sure.
first of all, I just want to make it clear, you submitted your resume and your cover letter as asked, so thank you very much for doing that. Okay, so we have got 7 questions. We want to make sure we use good use of the time.
Okay.
That's okay. So Molly, if you don't mind, we'll start with you.
Sure.
Speak into your mics.
Okay, so this question 1 has 2 parts. The first part is tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of Irvine International Academy. The second section is if selected, what will be your top priorities in your first year?
Well, I already answered the background part. As far as what draws me to serve the board, it's really to be part of IIA's legacy. My kids, they just started IIA, they're in kindergarten and TK, and so I want to be part of an organization that by the time that they graduate is more financially resilient than it is today. And so with all the growth that IIA has seen over the past 3 years, I think I can help in that regard. If selected, top priorities. As mentioned, my background is in real estate. I saw the position calls for someone with that type of expertise, so strategic real estate oversight. I don't know what you guys' thoughts on expansion or relocating, but just giving oversight and advisory guidance down that path, whether it's how does that impact us financially 3 to 5 to 7 years from now. Another priority of mine would be fiscal transparency. I know you guys have meetings with, I don't know who the party is here, understanding the balance sheet, the income statement. But I also think that there needs to be a deeper level of understanding what are scenarios where we could fall under or below budget. Like, what does the cash flow and financials look for IIA in 3 to 5 to 7 years? And so my background is in building forward-looking financial models at the company and portfolio level. So I think I can provide that guidance. And then lastly, KPI development. I think it's important to understand how much, for every dollar that we spend in this organization, how much of it is actually adding value to the student's education, either from a per student cost or some other metrics. I'm not really familiar with some of the metrics in KPI development and KPIs as it relates to charter schools, but I think it's important to understand that framework and look at it with much frequency.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to question 2. What specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
Well, like I mentioned before, I have a bilingual background. I was a former teacher at a middle school in one of the most poorest performing schools in Santa Ana. So I understand from an educator's perspective the classroom needs. And my other background, right, is in real estate and finance, which I've kind of mentioned the skills and experiences that I have there. But I think more importantly, for me, having 2 kids here, I'm just personally invested in this role. I'm not one that just wants to occupy a chair. If there's subcommittees, a finance committee, a facility committee, I want to roll up my sleeves. I want to participate. I want to make a contribution to this organization.
Thank you.
Question 3. What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus school leadership, and how would you maintain that distinction in practice?
Like I said, I was a teacher before, so I have immense respect for those leaders in the classroom. But I do believe the board's role is governance. It is setting the vision, making sure that the executive director has the resources she needs to execute her vision. And it's also to make sure that we are a financial, fiscal stewards of this organization.
First, I just want to welcome you.
Thank you.
All right. Question number 4, what do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing IIA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
Sure. I'd probably say growth fatigue is a greatest challenge. You guys grew from 300 to 600 students in the past 3 years. I've looked at some of the financials. It looked like you guys were in a negative fund position a year ago, and only now becoming profitable. I also also noticed that there may have been projections of enrollment declining in kindergarten over the next 2 or 3 years. So just understanding, again, when I talk about financial modeling and forecasting, what are the drivers to that and what happens, and just understanding different scenarios to get us to a position where we are just fiscally resilient from any type of economic conditions that might come our way. Yeah, that's it.
Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagreed with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
I think it's important to understand that I'm just one perspective amongst 4 other board members who share different perspectives on how things should be managed in this organization. So it's just really understanding and respecting each board member's perspective and expertise.
Thank you.
From a governance perspective, which priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
So I know we recently just received the Distinguished School status, and to me personally, that is our brand, and we should try our best to maintain that status. So it's really prioritizing what are the programs, what are the costs that really keep us in that status above anything else.
One more question. Question number 7. What are your views on board composition, including parents versus non-parent representation? And how should the board approach potential expansion to additional campuses?
When it comes to board composition, if there's a parent on the board, I can understand there's a conflict of interest, right? I'm a parent. In the board, I wear 2 hats. One as a parent to 2 kids and another as a board member representing 600 students. So as a board member, that board hat of overseeing 600 students trumps my 2 kids in the household. I do understand, there just needs to be a balance of this, right? There could be a great representation of a board member that's a non-parent that has the expertise that is needed to take IIA where it is today to whatever vision there is 5 to 7 years. So if there's a board member that has that expertise and aligns with your vision, I think there's that balance between the 2. And also, for a parent and a board member in a board position, for a parent you're personally invested, for a non-parent representative, sometimes it's unclear if they just want a seat and want to be able to put that on their resume. I think I have 5 minutes left.
You have 5 minutes.
I spoke too fast.
So you're welcome to say whatever you want about all other questions.
Or the second half of that question, I think.
Sorry, what?
The second half of question 7.
Oh, I should put, again, I think it's understanding what are the additional costs to expanding either to a new facility or relocating for that matter. Understanding what that mortgage or lease payment will look like, and from a net income standpoint, what's our fixed coverage ratio, debt service coverage ratio to maintain. And then, again, when it comes to forecasting and looking and seeing what the company could look like 3 to 5 and 7 years from now, what are the scenarios where expanding to a new facility would be disadvantageous from a financial perspective as it relates to enrollment decline. So just being able to give to the board that visibility into where we're headed in 5 years is where I think I would excel the most.
Just to ask a question, because you mentioned something earlier, you said you were a math teacher in Santa Ana. I'm just curious, what happened? Why you decided to no longer continue to teach?
I love teaching. I think at heart, I'm a teacher at heart. I would say I made an economic decision to just pursue something that I felt that I could make a more wealthy decision for me. So.
May I ask you one more question, just Jason, so, if you were to make, join the board to have an impact, right? And to maybe even have some changes, in addition to overseeing governance, right? Basically overseeing the administrative team. So what do you see, what kind of changes that you would like to have?
I think I'll go back to fiscal transparency. So I know you guys had that presentation. I would love to see like a monthly forecast of our sources and uses. Like where's our sources of cash coming from? Where's our uses of cash coming from every month? It sounded like there may have been some concerns about late receivables of some payments. So just understanding what our cash would look like. I speak 3 to 5 years from now, but it's also understanding what our cash would look like in July and December. With fiscal transparency, the budget, it's like one scenario of an instance. I think it's important to understand different scenarios. Like what if enrollment isn't where we have it? Like what does our net income look like? I think it just helps put us in a better position to make decisions now in case of those situations.
It's really kind of more on the financial operation side.
I think, yeah, I mean, that's where my expertise is. That's where I think I can provide the most value as well.
So do you want to get into the numbers? You want to get into the numbers, is that right?
Yeah, I would love to.
It's a mess.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love building like financial models. I love sensitizing different scenarios. That's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for your interest. We really appreciate you taking the time. This is a volunteer board. We invest a lot of time and energy, so thank you very much, and thank you for having your kids.
I appreciate you guys' opportunity here. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
If you don't mind giving the sheet to Tiffany or Dr. Henry.
Yeah,
and,
I'll take
thank
the
you.
questions and then, thank you. Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, let's give, like, we have 2 minutes in between for, so we'll transition and then we'll, and the next on the schedule, I think. Thank you. We gave you 2 minutes in between.
Thank you.
And then the next one is, the next one is Albert, actually. Let me make sure. I'm not sure who's walked in.
Yeah, see if he's
I'm gonna make sure and see who we got.
answer.
I know, look at this. This doesn't happen all the time.
No, it's never easy. It's never easy.
So they'll tell you a little bit about the process. We also, we're gonna have you over here.
Okay.
You have a microphone so that, because we're recording,
Okay.
as part of our public sessions. And then the same questions that you have are here, just a little bigger.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Mike.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
Thank you for coming in. Albert, correct?
Thank you for having me.
Albert, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, welcome. I just want to make sure. So I don't know if you heard, we've got 5 candidates tonight,
Okay.
and then we've got 4 candidates on May 19th. The interviews are 15 minutes.
Okay.
No, 15 minutes, and Dr. Henry's going to help us time keep.
I'll give you a hand signal, like when you have 5 minutes left, just to kind of keep you.
No problem at all. I will give it a good shot and hopefully it's helpful to everybody.
And
That's
then
where
we'll
we
do a second round for any of those that advance from the first round in June, or June board. So just to give you a heads up
Sounds good.
on that. So you have the list of questions, and if you don't mind, on your way out, if you could turn in the sheet that's been given to you with the questions, so we can keep the questions
Sure.
without taking them out, so we appreciate that. So thank you very much. We've got all the board members here. We've got 7 questions. We're just gonna start with Molly and kind of go down the table and then loop back around. We're just gonna be taking notes, so you'll see us writing some things down.
That sounds good.
Here, and as I mentioned, you have 15 minutes. First off, I want to recognize, thank you, you sent in your resume and a cover letter, so thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll start with question 1.
All right, so this question has 2 parts, and the first one is tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of Irvine International Academy. The second part is, if selected, what would be your top priorities in your first year?
Oh, okay. Yes, so my background is in IT, so I essentially have a good background in scalability and just integrating technology in the workplace. And of course, upkeeping it, making sure everything new is learned and at the same time applied as is needed. And I think from my perspective, just having that specific background alone would be helpful for IIA, mainly because I have not seen a whole lot of technology around here. So I think that with my knowledge, I can help kind of take it to the next step, whether it would be just the overall architecture of how the school handles technology for the school, for the students, staff, more like an overall picture of how we can improve everybody's interaction with technology, right? And at the same time, dealing with, we all hear this nowadays, AI, having integrated this within my company, I have a fairly good understanding of, what could be beneficial for a school, and what could and maybe is not so beneficial for students. Hopefully that's helpful.
Are you wanting to be hands-on with that in the school, or to what extent do you want to be involved?
Well, obviously as time permits, if hands-on is required and both my time is available and as long as the school has the time for me to be on site, that's totally fine with me. I don't need to sit behind a computer and send out emails with my concerns or wishes. I would be more than happy to be hands-on and come on site and help any way that I can, as time permits, of course.
Okay, moving on to question 2. What specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
Right, so as we touched on the technology portion, I think that is the biggest skill that I would be able to contribute to the school. Technologically speaking, I think adding that portion and increasing the school's overall footprint with technology, I think that would be beneficial to pretty much everyone. Since my son goes to school, my daughter goes to school here as well, I've seen their interaction with technology here, and I think there definitely is room for improvement. Obviously, financially speaking, I'm not privy to that, so I'm sure there are shortcomings to how things can be made better, but at the same time, having dealt with the IT world, I'm fairly savvy at finding good prices and good, for good, whether it's hardware, software, training, I can definitely bring, a huge portion of help when it comes to IIA's expansion into technology.
Thank you.
Question number 3. What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus the school leadership, and how do you maintain that distinction in practice?
So that's a good question. Since I haven't had a lot of time to look at this, what I could say is that I think school leadership I think that's very important, and I think the difference between a board and the school leadership, there has to be kind of a line in the sand where the board has its intentions, but I think the school leadership should be empowered to utilize its potential to grow grow the students' growth themselves, right? So I think as a board, we're here to help, not here to tell people what to do. But I think there is, a portion where our knowledge can guide school leadership to, do better for our students.
Just first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
And,
Good to see you again. I see you here all the time.
yeah. Yeah. What do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing IIA? And what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
So, besides obviously the technological portion that I see a place where it can grow exponentially, I can only, speak from what my children go through here at school, and whether it be just banter around the school, and just certain guidance that students need to keep focus. I think just those two are very important. I think the board can be helpful in maybe gathering more parental input into things they see, but their students may not really talk about at school. So I think it's really important for both the board and school leadership to get together and kind of get a consensus of, what are the pain points that are being missed, and how can everybody get together at the table and improve those pain points? Does that make sense?
Does for me. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagree with? And please again explain how you would handle that situation.
Yeah, so I think it's important for every individual to have his opinion. And I don't think it's wrong for somebody to disagree with the majority. Sometimes individuals see things from different perspectives, and it's important to take that into account. Obviously, it's important to be cordial at all times through that process. But I would stand behind disagreeing with the board on a decision if I see that there is a certain reason for that disagreement. There has to be proof of meat and potatoes to the disagreement, right? You can't just disagree because you don't like the board or you feel otherwise. There has to be a good reason for it, and I think if that is the reason, there's no issue in disagreeing.
From a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
Good question. I'm not very well knowledgeable on that aspect, but what I can say off the top of my head is that the board would be well positioned to empower faculty to teach student the process versus just the final answer, if that makes sense, right? So I look, for example, at my son. Sometimes he'll do math problems and say, hey, look, I've got the answer to this. And then I'd say, oh, cool, how did you get to it? Well, you just do this, but why? So I think it's, sorry, I'm forgetting the question. Right, yeah, back to the academic performance. Yeah, so I think it's important to create an environment where students understand what they're learning versus just finding the answer to their test, right? So it's kind of broadening their understanding of their curriculum. I think that's a very important aspect that could be helpful to everybody.
Final question. Question number 7. What are your views on board composition, including parent versus non-parent representation, and how should the board approach potential expansion to additional campuses or additional sites?
Yeah, so I think that falls under what I was saying earlier, that getting parental input is very important. As far as expanding campuses, are you referring to growing IIA to multiple locations? Oh, that's wonderful. But I think in order to do that, I think getting that parental input for our current location is going to be immensely helpful into expanding IIA, because if we can fix whatever problems we identify here, expansion would be so much easier rather than expand and keep building on what hasn't been fixed yet, right? So yeah, get everybody's opinion, get everybody's input so that you have an understanding of where some of the pain points are. Fix those, and then let's expand, baby.
We still have 5 minutes.
Does anyone have a question regarding something that was asked or mentioned earlier that we want to piggyback on, or?
Just real quick, what, your class, you said you have 2 kids here?
Yes.
2 kids? What
Thomas,
grades?
2nd grade, Julia's in kindergarten.
2nd grade?
Sorry, not 2nd grade, 4th grade.
4th grade?
Yeah.
I was thinking you had an extra one there.
No, he started in 2nd grade, yeah.
Okay. So
Time flies.
One in 4th grade, and,
Yep.
and, have you noticed this is kind of an off question here, just as, have you noticed how your kids are preparing for the CAS testing that's coming up here? Have you noticed any, that they're working on that?
Well, we do encourage, and in fact, he's actually doing extracurricular exercises at home. So, yeah, they definitely are being kept up to the curriculum, right? So extra work outside of school homework is helpful. At least we've noticed that it can help. And I think that falls under one of the questions that we had where, getting some parental input as to what could be done a little bit better, even within the classroom, for students to understand the curriculum better. I think that's a good point there.
Thank you.
I just want to,
Sure.
follow on the earlier questions. You indicated you have a lot of experience, so I can see that from your resume, a lot of experience in IT, and it can potentially be very, very helpful to expanding and to improving the school's technology, particularly in IT, right? So in addition to that, what other impact you would like to have at the board level?
I would like to give my opinion on matters that, are pertinent to our students, right? I mean, yeah, sure, IT is what I do now. I've done many of things in my past, actually. I've done sales and many other stuff. But I definitely would like to be involved in, making school better for everybody, not just a certain grade or a class, but, how can we, how can we make school easier, more fun, but at the same time have students, actually grasp the knowledge that they pick up here.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
We have 2 minutes and 6 seconds.
So you have experience with the academic systems, online systems? do you have experience with academic programs, software, the things that you might recommend for the school to enhance the enjoyment factor?
So unfortunately,
The frustration?
yeah, I actually, so the short answer is no, I don't have any experience with academic software. Actually, my very first IT job was working for Stanbridge University right down here in Newport. Yeah. That's actually where I went to school. It used to be an IT school and a nursing school, so I went to school there. And that was my first job, but what I can say is even working there, I have no problem vetting and finding what could be better, because that was part of my job, right? And even though it was this and that, there were a lot of applications that were specific towards nursing, and now it's become only nursing, right? So one of the things that I had to do is, hey, we would like, our nurses would like to teach this. Well, find us some software, let's see what's best out there. So that's, I don't want to say it's easy, but very.
Yeah. Okay. Other questions?
30 seconds.
Thank you. I just want to take the time to thank you for your interest in wanting to serve your school. It's a volunteer position, and it takes a lot of time and energy, and thank you for being a parent, supporter of the school, and for wanting to participate in this process.
Well, thank you guys for your time, and hopefully something comes out of it, but otherwise, if I see you around, I am always here to help. As long as my kids go to school here, and past that, as long as I live in the neighborhood.
Like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know what, like I said, parents can always improve perspectives, right? We've all had kids, things can be better.
Thank you.
And I'll walk with you, I'll take those, just, I'll walk with you because I need to see if our next candidate is here. So,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The questions are also on the table, so before you leave, I'll ask, do you have notes? Okay, but I have, so I'll show you here, and then they'll explain the process to you. And so, you'll speak into the microphone because we are recording. These are the same questions, they're just bigger, so you can read them better. So, there you are.
Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
Do you mind saying your name? Is it Celine?
Celine Soleil.
Celine Soleil. Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time. So just to give you an overview, we've got 5 candidates that we're interviewing tonight, and then 4 candidates that we'll interview on May 19th. And then we'll make a decision on who will advance to the next round, which will happen in June. That next round, round 2, would happen in June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So we've got 15 minutes here, 7 questions.
Okay.
Molly will start, and we'll go down the line, and we'll go through it. You have that time. You may notice us writing things down. It's because we're taking notes as you're speaking. So I believe you've been presented with a list of questions. If you don't mind, before you leave and go home, that you please return the list of questions that you have to Tiffany or Dr. Henry.
Sure.
So we can keep it. Thank you.
Okay.
That's great. We can hear you. That's wonderful.
Okay.
All
And
right,
I'll
so-
give you 5, I'll help count time for you. So if you're running behind, or I'll give you like a little 5 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right, I'll start. This first question has two parts. Tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of Irvine International Academy. The second part is, if selected, what would be your top priorities in your first year?
Okay, sure. My background in accounting and financial servicing would be contribute for you guys for all the financial budgeting, financial planning, compliance, internal auditing, and most important thing for my side, tax preparation, non-profit companies, because I have some clients, I have big experience for the non-profit organizations, financials, and tax filing for our side. And at my actually first year, I would help to financial, or like I would like to see, do you have strengthened financial planning? I would like to help, and also I would like to support family engagement, because I believe school growth, when the professionals and also parents work together, I want to make sure I would like to also contribute strategic growth planning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll ask, well, first I'll say thank you for submitting your resume and your cover letter. Appreciate that.
Sure.
What specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
Oh, sure. I'm deeply interested in serving Irvine International Academy, because I believe I am I work with the German, more than maybe 15 years. I work with the Turkish community. I work with the German company as a biggest one in Germany, energy company. I am really dedicated with hard work with them, and also I am working after moving here United States. I worked 8 years mostly for Americans. I know the all regulations. I'm happy working like kind of diversity, and I am member of OCTA, Orange County Turkish American Association. I am the board of directors over there. This is my third year, and I am doing the same, all financials. I'm trying to do timely management and also long-term sustainability. I'm providing them quarterly financials, and end of the year I'm preparing the forecasting, because kind of non-profit organization always we have limited budgets, and I'm trying to help them for more efficiently use this budget. And actually for different, to be part of the education, especially for Irvine International Academy, providing high quality education in Irvine. I am the local, I am the parent, and also I'm living in Irvine. I value the role the charter school Irvine International Academy playing in providing the students high education, diversity choices, and it's actually, I would like to be a part of this amazing community. That's, I can add it like this.
My turn? question number 3. What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus the school leadership? And how would you maintain that distinction in practice?
Okay. Appropriate role of the board, I can say accountability and protection of the mission. Also make decision best interest in students and school. For leadership, school leadership, I can say day-to-day management, leadership being part of staff, and leadership being the organization for just management. I can split up like this. And how you maintain this in practice? If I take a role for the board of directors, of course I can help with in collaboration for the other directors, making decision, accountability, and also governance, and protect the value of the school and protect the mission of school. And if I take a role for the leadership, for the day-to-day management of the school, I can help for all daily staff, daily organization, what needs everybody, I can help it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
For
What do you believe is the greatest challenges currently facing IIA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
Okay, should be diversity and getting popular, and also the school should consider to maintain the scholarship excellent grade for the all students. Also should take care of like staff's happiness, because if staff change a lot in the schools, it makes for the parents parents can think if something wrong here. It's important for the staff's like sustainability, and also maybe growing, and also the same problem for limited budget, using the budget for more efficiently. This is kind of maybe problems. And how we can address, I should take, of course we are the board, we have members, but board make should clear for the all decision and all goals, organized and planned, what aim, what our goals, what next year and second year, what is our short-term longs and what is our long-term longs, and keep up with them, and we can work with all the board directors like this. Make clear decisions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Next question. Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagree with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
Yeah, sometimes I encounter the same problem in our community, Okta. I am the Okta member. We have 8 persons at the same here. I don't know how many people directors here, but sometimes we are not agree, all of them, we are not same page. But of course, respectfully, I voice my decision, my concerns respectfully and understandably, and I can explain my points, my concerns. Of course, our president take all people's decision and ideas and opinions, then we are doing vote. We are voting the whole, election, and then we are making decision. Of course, sometimes I disagree with this result, but I am familiar with working on collaboration in different diversity people. We can respect, but all the voice is so valuable for me. Everybody needs to tell the opinion, of course. Okay, thank you.
Okay, from a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
As a six.
Six.
Okay.
Question
The schools should be the priority. This scholarship. I mean, the students' excellence grades. It's very important because in our mind, especially our mind, is famous for the schools. Everybody taking care, all the parents. I am thinking the parents' side right now. My daughter Pia will start this next year in Norman International Academy. I am so happy for her. But the thing is, the school set the priority for the teachers' quality, and because you are providing high quality education, the teachers should be there, and also the reflection side, the students' grades should be excellent. The priority actually is students' grades, and the directors should take care as should be clear and take as responsibilities for all the students and all organizations succeed. This is because all people working together, it is not for one person's succeed, it's all communities succeed together. And it's very international, Urban International Academy is so famous because of the school grades. The only priority, I think, school and financials.
Thank you.
Question number 7. What are your views on board composition, including parents versus non-parent representation? And how should the board approach a potential expansion to additional campuses?
My views is, I strongly believe, yes, expanded, because you are providing so unique, you're selected. I've been 2 times, I've been here, I visit the campus. I met all teachers individually, face to face. I love it, also admin. You are really unique, you are really giving, supporting the students very, very highly, very deeply. Why you don't expand, of course, but expand means open a new branch, because it's not easy, but it should be. More growth, our old people, old ours individually goals to improving ourselves, always improving myself every single day. And why school should expand, but directors and also for organization, the teachers and staff should be ready to grow and give the orientation. It's not easy, but amazing decision. I'm always the help and happy to growing. Doesn't matter school or individually people.
Do you have kids here?
No, but my daughter going to Montessori right now. She's 3.5. After 4, she got the lottery. August August 12th, I believe, she gonna start here.
Oh, okay.
She's 4 years old. Then after June, she gonna be 4. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Of course.
So I just want to thank you for your interest in going through this process and interviewing, and welcome you to the school for the fall.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
be in touch with you, so.
Of course. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is your child coming to TK this year? Oh. May I take the questions for you? Okay, thank you, but I'll walk out with you because we have so you'll be part of the IIA family. Wonderful.
So excited.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we'll be in the hot seat. We have a microphone because we're on live session.
Sure.
Obviously.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Evening.
I appreciate it. Thank you for coming earlier, so that you probably heard a little bit about the process here, what's going on, right? We
Sure.
have 5 candidates tonight and then 4 candidates on May 19. And then we'll advance those that are gonna move to the second round for the board meeting in June.
Okay.
We have 15 minutes. We have 7 questions. We're gonna start with Molly and go through each of the questions in order. Dr. Henry's gonna help time keep. And she'll give you some, I think, some cues on the timing. So with that, I just want to
She's used to
confirm.
reining me in, so. Used to reining me in.
I just want to confirm your name, please.
Sure, Michael File.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Michael. And then thank you for submitting your resume. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Is there a cover letter as well, or you just the
No, I think it was just the resume on
Okay.
LinkedIn that was.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, with that, we'll start with question 1.
Okay, all right. Question 1 has 2 parts.
Sure.
Tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of IIA. And also, if selected, what would be your top priorities in your first year?
Sure, so I've been a technology professional and consultant for the last 25 years plus. Currently serving as a vice president for a $25 billion technology integrator located out of St. Louis, Missouri. My daughter's been at the school for the last 4 years, and I've just loved the culture, the experience that she's had here, and I really feel it's something special. And I've been participating, in different boards and advisory committees over the last year and a half, trying to do what I can to, keep what we've done here and that's special as we grow and experience the growth that we've had. That really is what drives me, is making this a great place for my daughter and for other people in the community. Top priorities that I see is, as I mentioned, explosive growth has been something that's there. It's great to see all of that, but a big part of it is how do we do the capacity planning? And we've talked about that at some of the advisory meetings and other pieces, but how do we, prepare the school for it? How do we look at, like one of the other questions is, if we were to split the school, when do we do it? Do we do a clone of an existing school where it's based on location? Do we split it by grade level? How do we not lose the, specialty that attracts the, parents and everything that's here? Along with, how do we get the talented staff that we need to be able to support this and bring it across? We want staff that is lining up to work for us, not that, everybody has to recruit and go for it. And I know Mr. Schmitter and Dr. Henry have been working hard on that. And then the last, which is near and dear to my heart, is how do we integrate technology and continue to give our students, a leg up with everything that's out there today.
Thank you.
So on the technology piece, because it sounds like you're quite seasoned in that area, do you have experience with academic technology or software or integration?
I actually started my career working for my school system back when I was in high school, continued on it, throughout college. And then part of our company does support the SLED and federal side. So I am aware with some of those programs and systems that are, involved in it as well. My direct involvement is with the hyperscalers, but I do, have involvement throughout the company with it.
Okay, question 2. What specific skills, experience, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
Sure. So one is an expansive financial, experience from budget, cost control, operating expenses, headcount planning, that comes into it. Another that is very dear is as, companies are growing, culture is a big thing. Culture is what makes companies that are unique. It's what makes, communities unique. It's what makes schools unique, is the culture that's there. It's often lost when, it's being grown or scaled, because it's hard to do. There's constraints when it comes to budget. There's constraints on headcount. And sometimes it's trying to play catch up, but it's what allows people to be enabled. It's what attracts, new talent, it attracts new families, new students that are coming across. And sometimes it gets lost as we're trying to balance everything else in the competing agendas. With our company, it's something that for 15 years we've been on Fortune's Greatest Places to Work. So I think there's a lot of things that I've learned throughout that, because I've been part of companies that have bad cultures, and I've been lucky enough to be part of a company that's a great culture, recognized for it. And I'd like to continue to use those skills to promote it, here at IIA, and keep everything that we started as we continue to grow and become a much larger organization.
So what might that look like?
So some of it is working with different events that are coming across, working on motivation, within, the faculty, how the leaders have access to different, curriculum or pieces that are there that they can use to internally promote leadership with parents. And I've talked to Dr. Henry about this in the past. How we work with staff that has differing, opinions or views, where they're focused on where they are versus where leadership may be versus where the board is trying to go with the charter, to where everybody is on the same page. And it's really about driving trust, because that's the biggest piece, is having that trust that everybody is doing their jobs to meet that end goal and allowing everybody to feel part of that community. Because as you get bigger, it's very easy to be focused on your piece, or I'm just a parent, or I'm just a cog, I can't change that. Where a lot of people today feel they have a voice, they have, an ability to participate and change and do great things for the school, and we want to continue to keep that type of culture.
Question number 3.
Sure.
What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus school leadership, and how do you maintain that distinction in practice?
Sure. So that's something I have to do today, being in, senior leadership. I have to set guiding principles of where we want to go, what it needs to be, keeping us on the rules, putting different, guidelines or rails on it, where school leadership has to execute, those. And sometimes they have to come back and tell us when, a rule isn't working, or how we need to update or change, or what's necessary to be able to go with that. And our way is finding how do we enable them to do that while staying within our rules, within the charter that's in it. So it's a balance, and it's very much a partnership that has to go back and forth from where we're driving, where we're going, enabling, that we're doing it in a productive and successful manner, we're staying within budgets, while also enabling all those great things I talked about previously that's being executed by that school leadership. We want to be an enabler on the board and keeping us on the straight and narrow, not a hindrance that slows down the ability for us to have successful growth and attractive place to bring the students.
Thank you.
Yeah, next one fits right. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, good to see you.
What do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing IIA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
Sure. So I touched on it a little bit earlier. It's a great thing, but it's also a challenge at the same time as the explosive growth of the school. Having been around, 5 years plus, the amount of students that we've had here has grown significantly. The staff to support that has grown. Facility-wise, we're starting to bust at the seams. So that brings a lot of challenges that as the board we have to look at. How do we support the school leadership? How do we work with all the partnerships, whether it's Irvine International School District or splitting and working with another school district? What does that do to the students? What does that do to the community? What does it do to the leadership? Financials, we're bringing on duplicate staff that comes into it. How do we get ahead of that to where we can keep the growth going forward that enables our leadership to be able to focus on the day-to-day, which is educating our students and running that, while not losing what we have. So it is looking at growth versus scalability versus maintaining everything that got us here and being very humble about that. It takes a proactive look and investment to be able to do it, versus just working towards the numbers or working within the confinements. Sometimes it's lobbying and working, with those other entities that help support us in that charter. And I think that's one of the biggest, challenges that we're gonna have is maintaining that culture, that drive that really makes IIA different. We'll work with all these entities that, really enable us to be who we are. Any clarification on that?
I think that's pretty straightforward. Questions?
Okay, question 5. Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision you disagree with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
Sure, it comes down to something I mentioned earlier, which is trust and integrity. We have to have trust in our fellow board members and trust in our leadership. That while a decision may not be one that I personally, was after, I can't always be right. I have to, have that trust in my fellow board members, within, the leadership, the school, that it is the right thing going forward and be able to have that integrity, that we collectively made that decision, opinions have been expressed, people, heard those opinions. But at the end of the day, it's just like I have to do, in my role as an executive leader, that I have to do what is right and what needs to go forward, even if it differs from maybe a personal opinion that I have. And we have to drive that forward and execute it just as much as if it was an opinion that I was very much behind. And that comes down to integrity. You have to have that, you have to drive it forward. And you have to be able to, look at those decisions where if you only go by what's right for you, then you don't belong in that place because you're not making a decision. You're not open to different ideas. You're not driving, innovation and new cultures. Instead, you're just doing everything your way in the way that you choose. And that's not somebody that's a leader.
Okay, question 6, from a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
So part of that comes down to our charter. A lot of that is outlined in our charter where we go, what things that we're offering. Charter can be updated, or changed going through it, but we always need to revert back to, parts of that as to where we're going, how far. But it's also enabling ideas of our leadership, like the Mandarin Masters program, where we're promoting things that make the school special. It's something that we can do very internally to the school. Gets a lot of parent involvement, gives a lot of stuff back to our students. But also then chasing, those national and state-based, areas. Do we need to bring in additional resources? Do we need to increase our STEAM capabilities? Is there different technology that would enable us to go after those, all the way down to looking at curriculum? Is there a curriculum that is new and challenging, that the leadership wants to change or wants to come into it? How do we work with the parents? So there are certain times where we can look at what the state requirements are, what, those pieces are versus the curriculum that's being looked at by our educators, which are the experts, which is what we're looking for. Versus what we may be hearing in a community that somebody is very attached to something. And we find out how does it benefit our students? How does it drive things forward? How does it meet all the things that are there? And it's a guidance. It's really listening, having that feedback to where everybody feels that we're open and included in that culture. So that we can assist, our, leadership of the school.
Question number 7. What are your views on board composition, including parent versus non-parent representation, and how should the board approach a potential expansion to additional campuses?
Sure. So I'll start with the first one on the board composition. I don't believe any candidate should be excluded because they are not a parent of the school. I do feel that it's beneficial that you're a parent of the school because you have an extra, involvement and investment, in the profitability of the school, the growth of the school, and those factors. But if somebody has the right qualifications, they should be looked at equally. It is about doing the right thing to be able to enable the school, our values, and what we're trying to drive forward. And it really is based on the right candidate for the position. When it comes to expansion, as I touched on a little bit earlier, expansion of additional campuses, it is about capacity planning, it is about growth planning. Is it something that we've talked about in the past where we split based on grade levels and maybe we do a middle school or something else that's there
to something that is just, elementary, or do we do a duplicate where we do it based on location, and these students are closer to this location, these students are closer to this one. It allows us to service, different areas of the community and not be stuck to one school system, to where maybe instead of just Irvine International, Irvine Unified School District, maybe we go to Saddleback, maybe we go down to Mission Viejo or something else, and we're driving another area that we can bring everything that we've done amazingly here to those. And is that a duplicate? Is that another, K through 8? Or is it, a smaller one? And that goes back to my idea on capacity planning, growth, what is the drive for it? Because there's pros and cons to both. If you look at cloning and duplicating, you're servicing a new area, bringing in additional families, duplicating what we've done here, but there's budget costs and constraints that come to it. Whereas if you break it up, you have a cultural issue that you can have where you have a parent now that maybe has a 7th or 8th grader, they've got to go to one school because that's the middle school, and they've got a 4th or a 5th grader, now they're trying to figure out how do we get to both, where do we go? So there's never a perfect answer, but it's trying to look at the diversity of our students, where they are, the outside factors like the school systems that we are getting our facilities from, and trying to balance those. I wish there was a simpler answer I could give you, but it is a complex one that requires a lot of thought and careful planning.
But what's your view then on middle school being a different site, or middle school continuing to be here, but we copy this model, this same grade levels?
Between the two. Based on issues that I've heard from being on some of the committees, I think in our current fashion, the easiest answer may be to split the middle school, but it does have some drawbacks to it. That is probably the fastest with the facility issues that we've had working with Irvine Unified. There are cultural problems, as I mentioned, with that we have to work through and come across. And it'll be hard on the parent community, but sometimes there's additional value in it with what we're doing back, how we do staffing and planning, it's coming across it, maybe different things that we're able to offer with the new space or capabilities. I do feel in the future we would need to clone the school as we continue to grow. And it could be that we initially do a split that's really driven off of the facility and our growth that comes out of it. But eventually, I think servicing multiple different areas that we've seen some of the other charter schools do is a path that we're heading towards. Looking at enrollment, I'd have to look a little bit closer to see where that gap is. We may be closer to splitting and doing a clone than I think, but it's one where I've been very focused on just the renewal this year, sitting on Dr. Henry's advisory board. So.
We have 30 seconds.
Is there another question? I have a question, if you want to ask a question.
No.
You have a question, take it.
Go ahead.
So you've been here for 4 years,
Yes, sir.
so you've seen a lot of changes.
I have seen
So
one.
I'm curious, where do you see the school now? And you've seen all the changes.
I see the school as very similar to when I first came on board. There were some rough patches. I came on board after the first year that wasn't so good, and I don't have any history to speak to on that except the rumors, and I don't think that's valid to speak to. Dr. Beam, did some great things, not always, the easiest or most popular in hindsight, but it enabled a lot of things, drove a lot of culture that, parents, really resonated to, and worked well with the board. We had some things, as things changed, and everything changes, nothing stays the same. It was very hard. I think that comes back to that trust and that culture that I spoke to, that people just felt disjointed. That disjointed allowed us to not have trust. Everybody was examining, why are we doing this? What is behind this? Where are we going? Instead of actually looking at the facts of the decisions that were coming in there. So it was a very emotional response instead of factual response. And towards, part of that, that's why I got very involved. That's actually how I met Dr. Henry the first time that she was coming on board, was just speaking about, hey, these are some things that was around it. And one of the first things she'll probably remember I talked about was just communication. Let's talk to everybody. Let's make sure everybody knows what's going on. If we communicate clearly, it's sometimes a little bit extra fun. It brings people back to where it needs to be. And I think that's one of the things, again, as I touch on trust and culture, that I feel allows us to do the right things, to set the guiding principles, to be able to do the growth. And it allows people to feel comfortable going, okay, the board's in charge of this, they know what they're doing, the school leadership is executing upon all those pieces, and the parents are reaping the benefits, and our students are just having fun. They're being educated, they're learning cool things, and they're having fun doing it. There was a time period where my daughter was like, I'm not sure this isn't, what it used to be, and this year has been amazing for her. She participated very well in the Mandarin Masters. I've been involved since Dr. Henry and Mr. Schmidt was with many different things with the school this year. And that involvement I've seen, it's back and forth where the leadership is reaching out to us
Well, thank you. I want to thank you for your participation in this process, and thank you for being part of IIA and for your contribution in many committees. We're grateful to you.
And thank you guys for giving me the time in the audience today, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I do have one more question. I'm not gonna put on
Yeah,
that quickly, very quick. I mean, you've been here for 4 years, your daughter's here. You mentioned a lot about culture, right? I like that. But what do you see, you know, the cultural aspect you'd like to reinforce and, you know, if you wanted to exert some changes, what would that be?
The biggest part that originally drove us to IIA, outside of it being a multi-language, so my family would speak English and Russian and now Mandarin with my daughter. That's an inclusion on its own. There's a lot of things that come personally from different people's cultures. We also have a big Spanish community here as well. So that's a lot of personal cultures that are involved. There's a lot of learning for kids instead of just what they're used to. So it's a lot of pieces in that. But the other was the way the teachers interacted. The teachers were very invested in their students, and that was something that I enjoyed a lot growing up. I have an older daughter that's 26 years old, and going through the school system that she was in, it was, let me just educate you, let's get you out. It was more a factoring mentality. Where here, the teachers were very involved, and there's several that I could name that they cared about the students. They knew about the students. They say hi to this day when we're out doing pickups and everything else, and they remember, you know, multiple different students, not just, you know, my daughter's name. That's a level of involvement where it's not just I'm educating, I'm doing, and I do it because I love it. It's I care about these kids. I care about the success that's in there, and that translates back to the parents. There's several of them that, you know, are known, you know, coming across. There's also several that, you know, that maybe spoken up and had an opinion that could have been done differently or said in a different way, and I'd like to help guide that as well, so where people feel that they're heard without being disrespectful or being lost in something. And you know, that's what I see it coming back to is that, you know, we've got a very open door policy that we can discuss that, people feel involved, they feel, you know, being heard, and that allows us to be able to do great things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much again. I appreciate your time today.
I can take those, and then I'll walk you out and I'll get our last candidate. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. Amazing that we stay on schedule.
Thank you so much for coordinating. Which is great. So you have the questions, but they're also taped in front of you, like a little bigger font. Okay. And I'll explain a little bit more about the process to you. Make sure you're speaking into the microphone. Yes.
All right, I also have my cover letter and my.
Okay, would you like me to bring one?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have them there. There you go.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
I have an additional copy, which is
Yeah.
mine, so I know, I only did there before, so.
Thank you. And do you mind confirming your name?
Daria and Dawn.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Here you go. Don't need it with
Okay,
me.
so just high level, explaining the process, we've got 5 candidates tonight, 4 candidates on May 19th, and then for those that will advance to round 2, that meeting will be in June. So we've got 15 minutes, 7 questions. We would start with Molly, and then we'll go through each of the questions for each of the board members. I wanted to thank you first off for submitting your CV. We have that and your cover letter, so I appreciate that. And with that, we'll start with the first question.
All right. This first question has two parts. Tell us about your background and what draws you to serve on the board of IIA. And also, if selected, and what would be your top priority in your first year?
So again, my name is Daria. I'm Russian born, moved here 6.5 years ago. My son goes to the school. That's like a very short personal introduction. I'm a CPA. I work in external audit at a Big Four company, KPMG. I've been with the firm my whole professional life. What draws me to serve on the board is both personally and professionally. So personally, of course, because my child goes here, I care a lot about the school and its development. I know it's expanding a lot, so I feel like I can bring a lot of value, which brings me to my second part of the question, which is my professional interest, because I work in audit, which is financial oversight, risk management, and I do believe that these qualities are extremely important for the board for a nonprofit charter school, right? So yeah, that's my short answer to that question.
Okay. What specific skills, experiences, or networks would you bring to the board, and how would you actively contribute to advancing the school's mission?
As I mentioned, I work in audit, so pretty much my whole profession is to be in oversight of financial performance of companies, right? So I work with PCOB companies, ASCPA companies, and I have a lot of experience providing insights and guiding our companies, and I feel like I can add that value to the board and to the school. So how I would actively contribute, right? So I would be part of every meeting and share my experience at my network, which I have a lot of like CPAs in my network, and in accounting and into both professional world, right? So like my clients are also in my network. So yeah, again, specific skills. I'm also a great project manager, so I feel like that's a great skill, especially in our fast-paced world, which I can help, organizing and prioritizing like agendas and the items on the lists.
Thank you.
Yeah. Question number 3. What do you see as the appropriate role of the board versus school leadership, and how do you maintain that distinction in practice?
Well, the board's main mission is fiduciary, right? So it's not to manage the school, it's to oversight the management and leadership, and it's extremely important to distinguish that, right? So the board oversees the whole process of school management. So board is more strategic, right? So it helps and looks into the mission and how to stay aligned with the values of the school and missions. And it's extremely important not to drift into day-to-day operations, right? So it's more of a management role. And so how to maintain that distinguish, first of all, board should be 100% independent of the management, right? So it should not be affected by any of that. So yeah, that's, I guess, my answer.
Thank you.
Welcome, Daria. What do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing IIA, and what role should the board play in addressing them while ensuring proper oversight?
I would say the biggest challenge is school's expansion, because the number of students is rising. I should say the popularity, let's call it popularity of a school, is rising, because even in my parent network, people are talking about the school. I see the wait list to the school and all of that. And it's extremely important not to lose quality, right? Not to just start trying to get more students, again, losing quality of and culture and values, all of that. So the board's mission here is just to stay aligned with the mission. Again, just all of the values of school should be covered by the board and just oversight of management, and not to pay too much. So just to be aligned with huge expansion that is coming, in my belief, right? But again, just trying to stay on top of the priorities, which is quality, values for the students and the whole school.
Thank you.
Can you support and publicly uphold a board decision that you disagree with? And please explain how you would handle that situation.
So in my day work, I have some disagreements quite a lot, like with clients, with my team, but I'm a fact-based person, right? So evidence-based person, so that's extremely important to me, that something should be proved for me. In audit, we have the saying that if it's not documented or not proved, it did not happen, right? So for me, I still would follow the fact patterns and principle-based conclusions, right? So I would still want the decisions to be aligned with the mission and strategy of the board, right? So and I shouldn't say that, I'm a person who likes conflict. I guess
Oh,
I might, it's okay.
No, it's okay. For the recording, we'll give you mine.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we'll change out the batteries.
So,
It's on.
yeah, is it on? Okay. So again, what I was saying, that I still would prefer all of the decisions to be fact-based and proven. And I'm not the person who likes conflict, but also I don't want to just avoid a conflict if I don't believe in something that I'm saying. So I would say that if the decision that I personally disagree, for example, right, there's something I can personally disagree, but it aligns with the principles and values of the school, I would say I would uphold the decision, but again, only if it's aligns with what we believe in as a board, as a whole entity.
Thank you.
Okay, question 6, from a governance perspective, what priorities should the board set regarding academic performance and program offerings?
I would say that the choice of academic programs and performance is more of a management function, right? But for the board, what is important is to regularly review the data, looking into the trends, looking into the breakdown of the data by, for example, English learners, Mandarin learners, and all of that. So just to receive the correct and timely data to assess what management is proposing or performing. Maybe placing some safeguards, right? So some decisions should be only approved by the board, so management cannot make that decision personally. And another part of that would be resources, right? So board should be looking into allocation of the resources, that the budget is approved by the board and correct resources allocated to the correct programs, and everything is budget based.
Question 7. What are your views on board composition, including parent versus non-parent representation, and how should the board approach potential expansion into additional campuses?
On the board composition, I would say it's great when there is a balance, right? So both parent and non-parent members bring value. For example, parents would of course bring a lot of personal engagement, right? So all of that, but they're not as independent as the non-parent members, right? So non-parent members can bring more objectivity to the board, maybe more professional knowledge, expertise that some parents may not have. But again, I would say that there should be a balance, right, in the composition. And the second part, potential expansion to additional campuses. Me as a parent, I would love that. But as an auditor, I do see quite a lot of risks in that, right? So there's mostly financial risks, and also risks of, losing attention, I would say. So like losing some of the value that the schools bring, and just the quality of the education, because it's, of course, it's more difficult to manage and oversee multiple campuses. So there should be rigorous work before this decision is made, and again, it should be reviewed in many details, including maybe looking into the trends, looking into demographics of potential campuses, the surroundings of the potential campus. There should be a definite, very thorough review before probably even considering the expansion to a new campus. But again, as a parent, I would love that, because I'm a big fan of the school, so really wanted to have more kids to have open their potential in a school like this.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the 7 questions. How many?
We have 3.5 minutes.
Any follow-up questions?
Just a quick question. I didn't catch what children you had in the school and which class, what grades were they in?
So I have one son. He's in TK currently. He only started in January just because it was like part of our decision to hold him back, but then we changed our mind, and we're a little bit sad about that we didn't start as we were supposed to start, but yeah. So I have one son, and he's in TK right now. Before starting school, he only spoke Russian, so it's like I'm putting him to quite a challenge. But I do see a lot of progress, and he's thriving at the school, and he likes to learn, and he's always at the front row. So yeah.
How did you hear about the school? How did you recall?
So again, my son is 4.5 years old. I cannot answer your question accurately just because I don't remember, but I know that I had the school in mind since he was like 2 years old, because we are in Irvine. I would say probably some of my friends mentioned it to me, or maybe I was doing some crazy mom research, and my child is too gonna research all of the schools, but that's how I came across. But it always was like top of my list, and I was very, very grateful. Then we went to an open house tour, to a tour, and Ms. Rose just mentioned, why don't you start now? Probably to get into the kindergarten, you might be waitlisted. And I'm like, yeah, sure. We're taking the opportunity, and so we're just very lucky to ended up at the class.
Well, we're lucky to have you.
Yeah, so thank you very much for being a part of IIA and for going through this process and helping to support the school. We appreciate your time and your interest. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll take the questions. That's okay. You have all your things?
Yes, just
Yeah, I'll take that first. I'll walk you to the front.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
I'll be right back.
That's small.
Well, that was me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. We shouldn't need that one anymore. So.
Okay, so that was the last candidate. Thank you again to all those that interviewed this evening. Moving on to items for discussion and possible action. We've got approved the stipend schedule for 2026-27. IIA leadership has reviewed and updated certificated stipends, which are clarity, consistency, and alignment with staff responsibilities. This includes the addition of a PBIS coordinator stipend, an intramural sports coordinator, and up to 3 trainer of trainer stipends. The purpose is to recognize specialized duties and provide leadership opportunities for IIA staff. LCAP Goal Action, Goal 1, Action 1, Goal 1, Action 2, and Goal 1, Action 15. Funding source, LCFF funds and ELOP funds. Budget financial impact not to exceed 21,000 LCFF funds and 40,000 ELOP funds will be reflected in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item A. Any discussion?
I do want to share that the stipend schedule for last year was quite an approval by the board, because we approved doctoral stipends and master stipends and those types of stipends. After having discussion, those are also reflected on the salary schedule. So, and they are more stipends of merit or enhancement to employee contracts. So we've removed them from this is for more additional duties. The ILT stipends we're maintaining. The PBIS stipend was added. However, I do want to share that we already had a PBIS coordinator. She just logged her hours and logged well more than she needed. So we figured having a stipend was agreeable to both our PBIS coordinator team as well as management. And then finally, the trainer of trainers stipends were included with the approval and their training of thinking maps. So there are 2 people, and actually it's up to 3. And I'm happy to say the piece I was missing was the Mandarin piece, and I did have someone express interest today. So I'll be meeting with that person this week. And they're really going to be responsible for, well, first they'll learn how to train new teachers in thinking maps. So then as we enroll new staff or we want refreshers, we do not need to bring the company in anymore. And then also they will stay one step ahead with the writing program right from the beginning. So their next step after being thinking maps trained will be narrative writing, and then they'll help support the staff. So it actually will lower the cost and build capacity among our staff.
Okay, questions? All right. Is there a motion? Thank you, Molly. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Felipe. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Moving to approve direct declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 26-27 school year. Declaration of need, known as DAWN, is an annual document required by a local education agency as a prerequisite for the issuance of any emergency permit and/or limited assignment permit. The 26-27 DAWN allows IIA to apply to the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing for the issuance of emergency cross-cultural language and bilingual academic development, ECLAD, and/or limited term assignment permits for teachers. LCAP Goal Action, LCAP Goal 1, Action 2, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item B.
My only comment is that this is very routine. We do not have a need right now. It's anticipating it in case we do. Although right now our applicant pools are so large that I think we'll be able to get fully credentialed applicants. And I'll share a little bit about that during my update.
Can we approve, similar things as last year or in the past?
Yes, actually you approved it twice last year. So there was once that was approved and then there was a modification moved. And actually I do go back and look at all the previous board agendas quite often. And so I would say, yes, you have approved it every year, and it is very routine.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Felipe, I'm happy to second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, Executive Director's report.
Okay, well, I'll start with our applicant pools. We are still planning for next year, but because this is the prime time, we have flown a Mandarin teacher pool, an elementary school teacher pool. We're looking at having 2 PE teachers, so a PE teacher pool. And I'm very pleased to say, also the ed specialist, just flying to see what's out there. That was a position that was approved, although we're still pending looking at our numbers for next year. It is quite amazing, the number. And then, Mr. Sun, you said something, about us having like the best staff, and that we're really working towards that. I believe that was a comment that you made. Within 2 weeks, we were up to in the 80s for our elementary school pool. We had 60 PE teachers apply. Even for Mandarin, we're up to, I think it's 13, and that is quite unusual. We also go through and check all the requirements so that, we may not need that dawn, and a good number of them are fully credentialed and with what they need. It has the interest in our school has been quite amazing, so I did want to share that when it comes to people wanting to come here and apply to our school. On the 22nd of April, I had the privilege of attending Orange County Department of Education's Civic Learning Pathway Awards, because 84%, and that's 113 students, of our 3rd, 5th, and 8th grade earned the Pathway to Civic Learning Award. This was something that our teachers did, and I have a highlight. We will be giving these awards at the end of the year, so the students haven't received them yet, but I have them. I went to pick them up that evening as well. But if I could give one quick example, our 5th graders were doing their state projects, and it's a project that they do every year. And so I met with the 5th grade team to really talk about how do we take a project that we're already doing and enhance it with the civic learning, student voice, real world audiences. And what they decided to do, since they were researching the state, is they wrote letters to the governors of each state that they were researching, and they talked about some of the issues and things that they thought were really important, or things that they thought the state could do better. And we received a response. So really exciting. 5th grade student, Tristan Zhu, he wrote to the governor of Massachusetts about preserving natural parks, state parks in Massachusetts, and all the resources that they bring. And he did receive a response from Governor Maura Healey. And if I could just read like the first line or two, it just touches my heart of what they had to say. So she reached out and said, I would like to, dear Tristan, I would like to thank you for exercising your civic duty and writing such a thoughtful letter. Lieutenant Governor Driscoll and I deeply value the voices of young people like you who remind us of what a privilege it is to serve the beautiful state of Massachusetts. And then she goes on to say more, but that is the core of civic learning, and that is something that I'm extremely passionate about and wanted to bring here. So I wanted to share that success with you, and we're just going to grow from here. I thought that was wonderful. I did want to share that one of our students, her name's Katie Zhang, won a national championship for artistic swim under 12 years old. So Dad is so proud, our students are so proud. I will say that when we do become aware of that, and it's not the first time, we also had we had some students of ours that are gymnasts who actually won a world competition, or at least placed in Bulgaria. So Mr. Schmitter will add those kind of highlights to his weekly updates. So I did want to share that.
To share with you. Yeah.
You were going to share with me? I am very aware, so we're very excited. But please, I hope you can share in your update as well. And then I'll just 2 more things. Yeah, we have offered all spaces, so we're technically full. With a growing wait list, it's growing again after we've offered all the spaces. We're up to 276 additional students on the wait list. And then also, we are working with our current students on intent to returns, just to see if anyone's moving. And so far, I think we put it out yesterday, we have 172 returned, and only notification that one person is moving. So we're keeping our students, we're getting a lot of interest and buzz out in the community. And then finally, I do want to remind us all about the Spring Fling. Buy your tickets. Supporting PTO supports the school, and I know that our PTO has been so supportive of my personal vision and things that I want to accomplish at the school, and so I am so thankful. But we will be celebrating our 5th year families, and there are 60 families that have been here all 5 years, and that represents 78 students. Yep. And then also 9 staff members. So that will conclude my update. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Thank goodness. All right, moving next to the board of directors reports.
I'll go fast. Go fast. How's that? A little short. So just, the bottom line is word's getting out, right? Positive word is finally getting out. So not only are we doing well financially, which I'm sure everybody on the board is happy here, right? But, just that positive news or that positive reputation is getting out. And people are no longer really looking at that first year, right? But even the second one, right? Even the third year, right? They are looking at what we are now and what we can do in the future. And I think our decisions as a board in the future have to reflect that. We have to consider that, something, as we talk about expansion and things of those nature. We really have to think about that. That's got to be a big factor for us. The other thing, of course, the Spring Fling is coming out. As you all know, that's a big moment for me because I will be emceeing that. We did some research. We've been to the facility. It will be at Mariners Church there. And it's going to be a big show. So, guys, buy your tickets early. That helps us plan. So, I'd make a request to anybody, push to buy your tickets or sponsor events there. Mandarin Masters, I got to give a big shout out to Tiffany, because this would not have happened as well as it did without her, right? She's a big reason why. I think when we hired her, IIA expanded exponentially. That's the way I see it. She just took off and is going in the right direction. And she's a great asset here. And that's all I have.
Well, Dr. Henry, thank you for all those wonderful news that you shared with us. And it's just, this family just, we get to know more about the family, know more about our kids. And I also, just interviewed these 5 candidates today, and what I see is they love this family. They love the IIA. They want to be part of it. They want to do more together, for the students, for the staff, and I'm just so grateful. And knowing that our students are getting into state testing, so I wish all the best for them. But I know it's going to be a success. You look at the teachers putting their effort in, the parents are, so I look forward to not just a result, I think just going through this, and we're going through with them. So wish them all the best.
Well, first of all, I'm very, very glad that every time sitting here, see some kids are winning some awards, and it's very, very gratifying, and I feel very happy about it. And today, actually, I want to share that. Kitty John on first place, right? Championship in the duet, and in kids below 12 years old. That's number one. That's something truly amazing. Because someday that's gonna be a big event. They're gonna say, hey, that kid came out of IIA. I suggest we should have put a banner somewhere, on the website.
Graduate
Yeah.
from IIA.
Yeah, graduate from it, it's alumni. Yeah, remember, that's not easy, because I know from my previous experience in Southern Oaks, some people basically graduated, they actually won some, top 3 or in swimming, and eventually headed to Harvard and Princeton. And they said, oh, we graduated from, it's from Southern Oaks. So that's really something we should keep in mind. All right, and today also, just to follow on today's interview, and also, I feel very, very happy to see some of the parents, come out, and they're basically applying for the position. I'm happy to see that, because that's a very good sign, strong sign, and they would like to get involved and to make contributions, regardless of their background or personal experience, but just that, take actions to stand out. That's a very positive sign, right? I'm very happy, and we take that very, very seriously. I really took a lot of notes and carefully to evaluate, which position to go forward. So just want to give the initial feedback. I think, look good. All right. Thank you for organizing all this.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the wonderful news. So much wonderful news. It's
great.
It's great. It's continuous, and we love it. We just love the flow. I just want to thank you all, board members, again for your time. You invested a lot of time, and your expertise, your stories, and it's just been an honor. So thank you very much. Dr. Henry, thank you. You've been handling a lot. Staff's been handling a lot. School's in this has been a really great situation. So that's all I have. Thank you. Okay, moving to adjournments. Recommend the board adjourn the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on April 28th, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, David. Is there a second? Thank you, Molly. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Meeting adjourned. 9:02.
Yeah.